First of all, leave a comment below telling us which city you're watching from. And don't forget to like the video because that really helps it reach more people. The richest person in your city probably doesn't look rich. In fact, you might have already walked past them today. Maybe you stood behind them in line at a grocery store. Maybe they were sitting quietly at a coffee shop wearing a $12 t-shirt and a pair of shoes older than your phone. Maybe they live in a house that looks painfully average, the kind of place you'd never imagine contains a millionaire behind the door. But that's the point. The quiet rich, the people who hold real, lasting wealth, are almost invisible. They choose to blend in. They choose anonymity. They choose a life that appears simple, predictable, and unremarkable. And yet, beneath the surface, their lives are anything but ordinary. So let's start from the beginning. Why do the real wealthy people look so normal? The psychology of the invisible wealthy. Most people assume the wealthy want to be seen. And some do. You see them on social media, shouting about their lifestyle. They want attention. They want validation. They want applause. But the quiet rich, they want something much more valuable: freedom. To them, freedom is not a yacht or a sports car. Freedom is walking into a store without being judged. Freedom is never worrying about being robbed, envied, or targeted. Freedom is having enough money to sleep peacefully, without needing the world to know you have it. And the truth is harsh. The moment you look rich, you lose freedom. When people think you're wealthy, they start treating you differently. Some treat you better, most treat you worse. You become a magnet for jealousy, requests, pressures, expectations, and narratives you never asked for. The quiet rich understand this early. They see how loud wealth attracts loud problems. They intentionally design a life where their wealth is hidden, protected, and private, like a secret they don't share with anyone. A story you probably recognize. Let me introduce someone hypothetical, but very, very real. His name is Michael. He's 52 years old. He wears the same 3 shirts every week. Drives a car from 2011. Lives in a modest home in a regular neighborhood. Cooks his own meals. Doesn't post much on social media. If you passed him on the street, you wouldn't look twice. But here's what you don't see. Michael owns 2 laundromats, 3 rental homes, a small vending machine route, a large index fund portfolio he's been building for 27 years, no debt, a 7-figure net worth, a 6-figure passive income. Michael isn't rich because he won the lottery. He isn't rich because he's a genius. He isn't rich because he hustled for 6 months and bought a Lamborghini. He's rich because he quietly made the right decisions for a long time. No drama, no spotlight, no noise. He represents millions of people like him, the quiet rich, who have mastered the art of invisible wealth. And now the big question becomes, how do they think? What do they value? And what exactly do they do differently? Before we get to that in the next parts, we need to understand the foundation of the quiet rich lifestyle. The quiet rich don't chase status. They escape it. Most people are trapped in the status game without even realizing it. You see someone with a new car, and suddenly you wonder if yours is old. Your friend buys a nicer phone, and suddenly yours feels outdated. A coworker goes on a luxury vacation, and suddenly your weekend seems boring. Status is a trap. And it's one of the most expensive traps in the world. The quiet rich figured this out early. They realized that the moment you start competing with other people's lifestyles, you lose your own freedom. So instead of climbing the status ladder, they step off the ladder completely. They don't need to look successful, because they actually are successful, and that success is internal, not external. They would rather own assets than appearances. They would rather have freedom than approval. They would rather have time than attention. Invisible wealth versus visible wealth. There are 2 kinds of wealth. Visible wealth: cars, clothes, gadgets, vacations, accessories. The kind of wealth people buy to show other people they have wealth. Visible wealth is expensive. It drains you. It depreciates. It fades. Invisible wealth: investments, equity, time, health, privacy, peace. Invisible wealth grows quietly. It compounds. It multiplies. It ages well. The quiet rich choose invisible wealth every time. This single decision puts them decades ahead of the average person. While others spend their money trying to impress the world, the quiet rich invest their money to escape the world. The power of looking average. Looking average is a superpower, and the quiet rich know it. When you look average, no one asks you for money. No one expects you to pay the bill. No one judges your purchases. No one tries to compete with you. No one sees you as a threat. No one envies your lifestyle. Looking average is like walking through life with a protective shield. And because they aren't wasting mental energy on appearances, the quiet rich can focus on what actually builds wealth: consistency, discipline, long-term thinking, smart investments, controlled spending, low ego, high patience. They quietly stack assets like bricks. One brick at a time, year after year, completely unnoticed. The quiet rich don't want to stand out. They want to stay safe. There's another reason the quiet rich avoid attention. Wealth makes you vulnerable. If people know you have money, you become a target. Not just for crime, but for manipulation, guilt, expectations, and emotional pressure. Money changes how people see you. And the quiet rich don't want money to change their relationships. They want authentic connections. They want genuine interactions. They want people to like them for who they are, not for what they have. Anonymity protects that. Silence protects that. A simple appearance protects that. The deep habit behind all of this. If you look closely at every quiet rich person, you'll notice the same core mindset. They don't need external validation. They don't buy things for approval. They don't live for applause. They don't want to impress people they barely know. Their confidence comes from internal stability, not external decoration. This is the foundation of invisible wealth. And now that we've established the psychological core, the next parts will dive into what everyone wants to know. If part 1 showed who the quiet rich are and why they stay invisible, then part 2 reveals the deeper question. What exactly do they do differently? Because the quiet rich don't just look different from the flashy rich. They behave differently. Their habits are counterintuitive. Their choices are strategic. Their thinking is almost the opposite of what most people do when they start making money. Let us break down the real mechanics behind their lifestyle, the habits that quietly build wealth while keeping them invisible. 1. They live far below their means. Not because they're cheap, but because they're free. Most people upgrade their lifestyle the moment their income rises. The quiet rich don't. Instead of moving to a luxury condo, they stay in their comfortable home. Instead of buying a brand new car, because they deserve it, they drive the same reliable one until it stops making sense. Instead of buying the latest tech every year, they use things until they genuinely need replacement. This isn't about being frugal or restrictive. It's about preserving power. When your lifestyle is low cost and low stress, you gain something incredibly valuable. Optionality, the freedom to say no. No to toxic jobs. No to debt. No to consumer traps. No to financial anxiety. Quiet rich people keep their expenses low because it makes their peace high. 2. They don't spend emotionally. They spend strategically. Most people buy out of impulse. I had a bad day. I deserve this. It was on sale. Everyone else has one. The quiet rich do something different before every purchase. They ask one simple question. Will this matter 1 year from now? If the answer is no, the purchase dies instantly. If the answer is yes, they make the decision calmly, without hype. This small habit saves them hundreds of thousands over a lifetime. Not because they avoid buying things, they buy plenty, but because they avoid buying noise. 3. They accumulate assets, not lifestyle. The average person upgrades their lifestyle. The quiet rich upgrade their assets. They don't care if people can see their wealth. They care if their wealth can work. Their money goes into rental properties, small businesses, high-yield index funds, dividend stocks, private loans, land, intellectual property, long-term ventures. Every dollar they earn has a job to produce another dollar. They don't let money sit, they put money to work. And that single habit is responsible for most of their long-term wealth. 4. They choose boring paths that lead to interesting lives. The world is obsessed with shortcuts. Crypto hype, day trading, sudden trends, fast money illusions. The quiet rich avoid all of it. Instead, they choose the boring road. Consistent investing, reliable businesses, simple strategies, slow compounding, predictable returns, stable cash flow. They aren't chasing the dopamine hit of getting rich this month. They're building wealth that stays stable for decades. And here's the twist. The boring path creates the most exciting life. A life without stress. A life with freedom. A life without financial fear. 5. They don't announce their goals. They execute them silently. Most people love talking about their plans. I'll start a business. I'm going to invest. I'll save money. I want to retire early. Quiet rich people rarely say these things out loud. They move differently. They plan privately. They work quietly. They execute silently. They reveal nothing until it's real. And even when it's real, they reveal almost nothing. Their results speak for them, and even then, the results whisper. 6. They surround themselves with calm people, not loud people. The circle of a quiet rich person is calm, loyal, modest, and grounded. You won't find them spending time with drama seekers, social climbers, braggers, materialistic friends, people obsessed with brands, gossip addicts. They gravitate toward people who value ideas over appearances. Conversations in a quiet rich circle sound like, how do we solve this? How can we invest smarter? What's the long-term move? How do we improve our systems? What can we build together? They avoid noise. They avoid chaos. They avoid unnecessary attention. 7. They are obsessed with learning, but quietly they aren't loud learners. They don't brag about reading 50 books a year. They study privately. Business books, financial psychology, real estate, tax strategy, market fundamentals, negotiation, human behavior, leadership, technology trends. Knowledge compounds faster than money, and they know it. 8. They don't waste money trying to prove they're not poor. The average person spends money trying to convince others they're not struggling. New clothes, new phone, new shoes, nice dinners, trendy vacations. The quiet rich don't fall into this trap. They have nothing to prove. The moment you stop buying to impress, your wealth trajectory changes dramatically. Instead of performing wealth, you build it. 9. They think in decades, not days. Most financial problems come from short-term thinking. I need it now. I want results fast. I don't want to wait. I can't be patient. Quiet rich people think like this. Where will this put me in 10 years? They aren't trying to win today. They're trying to win forever. And because nobody can beat someone who thinks long-term, the quiet rich quietly and consistently get everything they're aiming for. 10. They protect their time like it's money because time is the one currency even billionaires can't buy back. And the quiet rich treat it that way. They avoid unnecessary meetings, chaotic people, meaningless social events, energy-draining conversations, pointless online arguments, addictive apps. Their time goes into building health, wealth, family, peace, skills, meaningful relationship systems that compound. They know something simple and powerful. If you waste time, wealth becomes impossible. If part 1 revealed who the quiet rich are, and part 2 explained what they do differently, then part 3 goes deeper. Because the real difference isn't in their habits, it's in their mindset, their beliefs, their internal rules, their way of seeing the world. Everything they do externally comes from a deep internal philosophy about money, freedom, and life. Let's break it open. 1. They see money as a tool, not an identity. Most people let money define them. If I have money, I'm valuable. If I don't have money, I'm insignificant. Quiet rich people don't attach identity to money. They use money the way builders use tools to create something meaningful. Money to them means freedom, optionality, time, protection, peace, legacy, because money isn't who they are. It's what they use. This perspective gives them power over money, instead of money having power over them. 2. They don't chase comfort. They chase control. Most people spend money chasing comfort. The quiet rich spend money building control. Comfort fades. Control compounds. Control over your time. Control over your decisions. Control over your income. Control over your environment. It's why they invest heavily and spend selectively. Every decision aims toward one goal. How do I gain more control over my life? 3. They think in terms of systems, not events. Most people think wealth comes from big events. Winning the lottery, receiving a bonus, flipping a house, starting a trending business. Quiet rich people think in systems. Recurring cash flow, predictable returns, consistent investing. Long-term compounding, boring businesses that never stop producing. They don't depend on luck. They depend on structure. 4. They avoid ego battles. Because ego is expensive, the quiet rich don't need to win arguments. They don't need the final word. They don't need attention. They don't need validation. They don't need recognition. Ego pushes people into bad decisions, unnecessary upgrades, impulse purchases, show-off spending, toxic relationships, status competition, financial overextension. The quiet rich step away from ego traps. Their humility is a financial superpower. 5. They value boring consistency over exciting chaos. Most people prefer excitement. New car, new clothes, new toys, new upgrades. Quiet rich people prefer consistency, same habits, same plans, same investments, same routines. The world often celebrates chaos because it's loud. But wealth loves silence because silence is stable. 6. They believe privacy is protection. Privacy is not shyness. Privacy is strategy. When people don't know your wealth, they can't judge you, envy you, target you, or manipulate you. Quiet rich people stay private for 3 reasons: safety, peace, power. When nobody knows what you have, nobody tries to take it. 7. They don't envy anyone. They study everyone. Most people see someone successful and feel envy. The quiet rich see someone successful and feel curiosity. How did they do it? What can I learn from them? What system did they build? What skill made this possible? Curiosity compounds. Envy destroys. 8. They don't confuse income with wealth. Many people earn high incomes but live paycheck to paycheck. The quiet rich focus on net worth, not cash flow lifestyle. They know income is temporary. Wealth is permanent. That's why they invest relentlessly instead of upgrading endlessly. 9. They see delayed gratification as a superpower. Most people want everything now. The quiet rich wait. They wait for good deals. They wait for investments to grow. They wait to upgrade lifestyles. They wait before reacting emotionally. They wait before making big decisions. Patience quietly compounds into wealth. 10. They understand that freedom is more valuable than attention. Attention is addictive. Freedom is priceless. Most people would rather look successful than be free. The quiet rich would rather be free than look successful. That single difference changes their entire life trajectory. So, how do you become quiet rich? You don't need a huge salary. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be born into privilege. You need 3 things. 1. A low-cost lifestyle, not poor, efficient. 2. A habit of investing consistently. Set it, stick to it, ignore the noise. 3. A mindset that values freedom over appearance. Stop trying to impress people. Start trying to liberate yourself. Do this for long enough, and one day, you'll wake up financially free, wealthy, invisible, at peace. One of the quiet rich. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next ones. Thank you.